and welcome everybody. Conversation with Clients. I'm Bryan Adler. I'm a board certified elder law attorney at Rothkoff Law Group. With me is Kathleen Magee. She's our Director of Care Coordination. Kathleen.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
And finally, and most important, we have Linda Arrego. She is the daughter of one of our clients. And we've been working with Linda and her dad, George, now for 4 years?
Almost 3, since November 17.
Almost
Wow.
3 years.
Almost 3 years.
And we've been working together closely. We have a great relationship. Linda likes to bust my chops about
I'm
my
back, and
choice.
you give it right back. So it works.
We do have a very good time together. I always look forward to seeing your name on the calendar. So just to introduce everyone to Conversations with Clients, the purpose of this discussion is to get perspectives of the family members of our clients, their loved ones, with regard to long-term care, what they're seeing, the positives, the negatives, particularly in light of COVID, and where they hope things will go and how things will change in light of this. So Linda, let's kick it off with, give us a little bit of background about your dad, what you've been working with him on in the last 3 years.
Well, it all started when my mom passed, and we needed an elder care attorney, and you were referred to me by my financial people. And you and one other person. And Bryan got the job because Bryan got his law degree from Drexel, where my son went. So, and I told him that when we first met. That's the only reason that you got the job.
Hey, I'll go through whatever door is open to me.
So, I figured he's a drag and he can't be all that bad. In our first meeting, we talked about the services you would provide. And it was basically complete redoing of all the paperwork, removing my mother's name from everything, and changing up some things my father wanted in his power of attorney. And we got that all taken care of within the first, by the end, we started in fall. So by the end of 17, everything was done. There were some other things that took longer through no fault of Bryan or me. It was government things that.
Oh, yeah, the VA benefit.
The VA benefit.
Oh God, that was excruciating.
That was
uniquely long.
That was a very long government shutdown. I think the person for your firm switched halfway through that whole process. So yeah, it was just long, but it was worth it. We finally got everything approved and in place. My father redid his will about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. We were out there. That was when you first started noticing my obsession with seltzer.
Coconut water. It was last year was coconut water. Yeah, you came out, you and Kathleen, and I brought one of my friends. We met at his nursing home and executed the new will then. Since then, you guys are great. I mean, anytime I have a question for anybody, it's less than 24 hours before I hear back. And I can't say that about a doctor. I can't say that about a lot of people you have to deal with. But you guys are on top of it, and you are fantastic.
Thank you for that. I truly appreciate that.
Well, and it's heartfelt, and I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true and if I didn't mean it. I mean, the people you've referred me to, Jay and Jason, just as great.
Good.
Right on top.
That warms my heart. That makes me feel so good.
Yeah, you guys are the best. I mean, I am so happy we found you. So
thank you.
We're happy you found us.
That's really nice.
Yeah, my dad is always saying, whatever you do, don't forget to renew. He starts now asking me, when do we have to renew with Bryan? I'm like, we're good.
I always enjoy visiting with him. He's such a storyteller. It's always nice to see him.
And I love how I get all the credit. Kathleen goes out there, she talks, she sees her dad more regular than I do. But George is always saying, how's Bryan doing? What are we going to do with Bryan? Kathleen doesn't get any of the credit.
Right, he's always like, whatever you do, keep Bryan happy. I'm like, oh, okay.
Linda, how's Dad been doing with the shutdown?
A little stir crazy, just like everyone else. He's in a nursing home. I should let people know that he's in a nursing home, so they're pretty much confined to their rooms.
He wasn't always in a nursing home, though.
And Linda, I guess that's where my question comes from, because he was in independent living when I first met him. How do you think this situation with COVID would be different if Dad were still in independent living?
I think he would be a lot worse off than he is.
He has that 24/7 care now that he didn't have in place back then.
He has that. He has people making sure he's eating.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when he was an independent, he was on his own for some of his meals. And this way, and I know this sounds kind of weird, but I really don't have to worry that he's okay right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I know some of my friends who have parents and independent, or they can't get in to see them. They don't know if they're eating.
Right.
And it's kind of a relief to know that he has people,
Mm-hmm.
even though he's confined to his room, but he's
That's
getting.
a unique perspective.
Yeah.
Because remember when as your father was matriculating from independent to personal care to nursing, the natural instinct is, well, let's stay as independent as possible in the least restrictive environment.
Mm-hmm.
But here, that may have been to his detriment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my father is a fall risk. He's got a bad leg. He's now confined to his motorized chair. If he was, and you guys know, getting him to stay in that chair was an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm.
That was a battle. So I can't imagine if he was on his own. Like I can't even imagine. I don't let myself go there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just very happy that he's being monitored and taken care of, and I don't have to worry about did he fall in the shower?
Right.
Yeah.
Did he fall trying to make himself something to eat?
Right.
Because I don't know if people would even go in there.
When was the last time you saw your dad?
Oh, months ago. Physically, months ago.
Are you doing window visits or stopping by the lobby?
Excuse me. No, they're not really allowing anybody but health professionals in. Kathleen, you could probably get in before I could.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. But
I know what you mean. Yeah.
They do a video chat. We do a video chat.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Is there any indication when they're going to be reopening?
No. They send a daily letter out. Where he is, they've had 2 employees in his facility test positive and only 1 patient.
Wow.
That is very impressive.
That is great. That's really great.
While I'm hoping soon and maybe something where we can be outdoors,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
hearing that more and more, that some communities are doing porch visits or scheduled patio visits if the community allows. So I think we're going to head in that direction soon. I'm hopeful, but you never know.
I hope so. I hope so. I keep sending him books and stuff through Amazon, so he's staying occupied. But he's like everyone, a little stir crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We can send him an activity book.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has one, but we should send some over there. I'm curious to know, because your dad is alert and oriented. Is he following what's going on? Does he understand why you haven't been there visiting? How in the know is he? And are they talking about it there at the facility?
He watches the news, so he's aware what's going on. And he's asked. He's complaining he needs a haircut.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Who
He's feeling better because he's complaining. He just doesn't know. He said he has had a really bad allergy season and he wants to get to the doctor to change the medicine that he's on for allergies.
Yeah.
He doesn't know when that's going to happen. I said that you need to ask because they'll probably let you go to the doctor.
Are they utilizing telemedicine there? Is a doctor seeing him in person?
I don't think they're doing telemedicine.
Well, that's a win at least. It's nice to have that interaction. Kathleen and I were lamenting a couple of days ago, how we've reopened our offices just to allow staff to come in if they want to work, and if they want to get out of the house. But it still isn't the same. We go in our offices, we close our doors, and that's it. We still talk on the phone. We don't do in-person meetings with each other. So I was super excited to have that connection again, but you're still at such a distance.
Right.
Even though your dad's seeing those caregivers, it's probably not quite the same as it would.
Especially if they're gowned up and they're coming in with masks and
gown, shield, mask. That
personal touch is missing.
It's like something out of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, Linda, what's the best thing that you've seen come out of this, or changes you've seen come out of what we just experienced, what we are still experiencing?
I think the best thing I've seen is how the facility he's in is reacted to keeping, especially the nursing home clients, protected. and safe, and not letting people and not letting people in. And I know it's a struggle
Mm-hmm.
and it's a hardship, but I understand it's for their best. They're high risk. I have a son who's high risk. He's a diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
What's the
understand.
worst thing you've seen?
Not seeing him for months. It's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you two are really close.
You
Yeah.
are close. You were there once a week at least on the weekends.
Every yeah. So that's been rough.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think when this first hit, did it ever cross your mind to say, you know, maybe this isn't the best place for my dad, meaning a long-term care facility, not this facility, and you should bring him home?
No.
Why?
He you guys, he's very stubborn. You know that. You know that. So he would have been harder to do things with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, Linda, every time I talk to him, he never wants to be a burden on you. He tells me that all the time. He doesn't want to have to make you drive down to see him. So I can't imagine him willingly going to your house without feeling like I don't want to do that to Linda.
Well, Bryan and I had talked about moving him closer to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so just so everyone's aware, Linda, it's about an hour away.
It's an
45
hour.
minutes, right? Yeah.
He's in
It's
Warminster.
across counties. Right.
Yeah, and I'm up in Quakertown. He's down
Mhm.
in it's upper and lower box.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about moving him closer, but couldn't do it. Didn't at his age. My dad's 90. The thought of picking him up and moving him away from people he was familiar with, all his doctors,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it. So I do the drive, and I go down there. And I don't want to make it sound selfish, but since he's been in the nursing home, that's even been easier for me. I don't have to worry about going down there and helping take care of the apartment
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and all those needs as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's such an interesting perspective. You know, we sit here and we kind of wax philosophical about getting our families and their loved ones the best care possible. And we always sort of follow that with in the least restrictive environment. Maybe though it should be in not just the least restrictive, but something that gives everyone the peace of mind that they need. You know, what does dad want? What does the family want? Let's look at this together and be more collaborative, which I think is something that's missing in long-term care planning on the grand scale.
Mm-hmm.
You know, too few people are saying, you kind of look at it and say, well, this person's on the bubble. Let's go with personal care instead of a nursing home because it's more independent.
Mm-hmm.
But is that really better for everyone involved? Let's have that discussion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have a friend who was going through a similar situation, and she ended up with the personal care, not the nursing home, the independent living.
Yeah.
And her parents were both not doing well. And she called me. She was like, how did you make that decision? And I was like, well, my father got sick. He contracted pneumonia last summer, ended up in rehab. And I said, that sort of made the decision for me.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, you're done. You're staying here. This is where you need to be.
And I will say, he gave it a try after the one rehab stay. He gave it a try because that's what he wanted to do. And he had a lot of in-home care after that stay. And then he ended up back in the hospital and he landed in the rehab again. And after that, that was when the decision was made.
It was one strike. He didn't get 3. It was one strike. and this is what you're going to say. This is probably the best place for you at this point. The physical therapy is right there. And the nursing staff on his floor is great. They're just great. So I'm really happy he's where he is.
So it seems like even though this has been a terrible 3 or 4 months, it probably is working out as well as it could have for you and dad.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Even if he was up the road from me, I wouldn't be able to see him.
Right. That's absolutely right.
Now, put yourself in your shoes 3 years ago, 4 years ago. What's the biggest, best piece of advice you can give to somebody who is dealing with the onslaught of an age-related issue for a parent or a spouse or a sibling or a loved one?
Find a place where you know they'll be happy. I think is more important than finding a place where you're happy with them being there. Does that make sense? It's not what's best for me. It's what's best for him. and honestly, being where he is the best place for him. And that's a hard decision. I mean, my parents both moved there. When my mom was still alive, they both moved there. When she passed, he didn't want to leave.
Mhm.
And for a while, we talked about it. And then the nursing home became the best place for him to be. And I couldn't ask for better staff down there. Their staff is really phenomenal.
That makes me very happy to hear.
Me too.
Any other parting thoughts, wisdom, things that you've learned over this journey?
Trust your lawyer. That's Bryan and I have had some interesting conversations about stuff, but
yeah, we have. There's a lot that goes on. You know, I say to Kathleen and our team all the time, I kind of look at us as healthcare advocates and social workers that practice law, because we spend a lot more time just trying to solve concerns, address worries, talking things through with some families than we do actually engage in the practice of law. And you and I have had a lot of those conversations.
Yeah. There
always over coffee.
Yeah, I've asked you some really odd questions. We've had some really odd discussions about things, but it's always like, I called you one day, I was really down about something. I just wanted to ask you something, and we ended up talking about, I don't even remember what, but laughing hysterically.
That's typically how it goes.
And when I was done, my son's like, who are you talking to? The attorney. Yeah, that's not a normal conversation. I'm like, yeah, no, well, it is for us. That's how they usually end up. One of us is laughing hysterically, and I kind of needed that at that moment. So
And I'm always happy to be there.
Yeah, and you and I end up laughing so much. It's such a pleasure.
It's a tough thing that we deal with.
Yeah,
you know, Kathleen and I talk all the time about how, you know, we are surrounded with, you know, disability, with a lot
end
of
of
death,
life
a lot of
discussions.
hardships.
Yeah.
And we are able to make light of it in a positive and constructive way. Otherwise, I think we'd probably go bonkers.
You would.
All of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we just know that we have enjoyed working with you tremendously.
I know.
And we look forward to
you guys are definitely the best. I am so happy for finding you guys.
Linda, thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
And we'll talk soon, and we'll laugh again soon as well.
I'm sure we will.
And I know, Linda, you were a big fan of Adler size.
Yes, I loved it.
Oh, one day I'll
in the office. Come on.
There was a family I was working with, and I was talking to the adult daughter. She goes, "One thing I need to ask you." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Adler size. I don't think I can work with you anymore after having seen that." So thank you again.
That's part of the Drexel in you.
It's the Drexel. It's the dragon. It's Mario.
It's the Mario in you.
So thank you again, everyone. Thank you for watching. Again, this is Conversation with Clients. Bryan Adler with Rothkoff Law Group.
Kathleen Magee. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, you again,
guys.
everybody.
All right. See you.
All right. Bye.